Superman is, following Batman, the second most well-known character in all of DC, and this translates to worlds even beyond the comics. He's more than a man. He's an icon. The funny thing is, he didn't make his debut into the LEGO video game universe until the second LEGO Batman game, titled DC Superheroes. And his physical release is even more convoluted. But did you know that he made a small cameo in the first LEGO Batman game? Or that he appears in 4 games outside of the LEGO DC franchise? He's got a long history with a lot of variation. So let me stop wasting your time as we cover the history of LEGO Superman. As I stated before, Superman made his first real appearance in LEGO Batman 2 DC Superheroes. But his first mention in LEGO Batman's canon was in the first game. There's these collectibles known as data entries in LEGO Batman 1, and they're used to sort of fill out the universe and give you insight into the game's lesser known characters, even ones like Scarface or Azrael who don't officially appear in the console game at all. One of them, closer to the end of the game, tells us that Superman entrusted Batman with a kryptonite ring in case he ever turned bad for any reason, making this the first official reference to LEGO Superman ever, even predating any of the toys. From 2008, we can fast forward to 2012 to the release of LEGO Batman 2 DC Superheroes. And you can make an argument that the whole point of this game was to introduce Superman to the LEGO universe, as he is not only one of the first characters ever to have a speaking voice line, the literal first ever to fly, but he overall just steals the show. His debut in this game is perfect. The way he's written is perfect, the way he looks is perfect, and the way he plays inside of levels is perfect. We're not going to talk about how it feels to fly around in the overworld, though, because it's, well, let's be honest, it's atrocious. I mean, I'm going to go off script and ramble for just a second here. The way that you meet him is just so, like, memorable. You're in a level called Chemical Crisis, and it's super long. It's split into 3 sections, and the first section alone is the length of, like, an entire normal level. And you're just picking up all these, like, these beakers with Batman and Robin trying to solve a mystery. And then it starts on fire, and you're like, oh, where am I going to go? The whole thing's on fire, and you're running through, you're picking up toxic waste, doing all these very, very slow, monotonous tasks, like demo suit stuff, pulling strength handles, acrobatic things, electric suit stuff. You have all these suits, all these abilities, and it takes forever. And when you finally think it's over, Superman, like, flies in to rescue you, right? And he's like, oh yeah, I'm here, blah, blah, blah. You're like, oh man, this next level after this one's gonna be amazing. But it keeps going on, and you start as Superman in your party. You're like, well, what's going on? And he has strength, he can fly, so whatever, the acrobat suit, demo suit are just like, it's whatever. He can put out the fires the hazard suit was used to put out in the previous section. He trivializes, like, literally everything that you're doing, and you realize, oh, what could stop this guy? And then the big, like, electrical field happens, and you kind of get a feel for, like, he's overpowered, but to a degree, he's still tempered. It's like, I don't know, it's like a perfect mix of what you want the character to be. I honestly think the design of LEGO Superman peaked here. In contrast to Batman's design, which feels too simple with the full black suit, Superman gets the red trunks, yellow belt, and the iconic swirl in his hair. It feels so timeless, and accompanied by the wonderful voice performances from Travis Willingham, it's really hard to find anything wrong with this portrayal. His voice is booming and strong, but he's also a little daft and happy-go-lucky. It's one of the best interpretations we've ever gotten, and I can't glaze it up enough. If you want to go down a more mild-mannered path, we can take a look at the character of Clark Kent in this game, who I think is just supposed to be one of Superman's reporter friends. I don't really know what their whole relationship is. Is this a bit funny? Every YouTuber that I know does the whole, like, oh, I wonder what their secret identity is, but, like, we all know. I'm just going to stop this one. It's going nowhere. Anyways, heading into a phone booth will transform Superman into Clark Kent, and while he may lose the swirly hair, he still maintains his freeze breath, heat vision, x-ray vision, and super strength. He's just unable to fly. I think this is a really cool addition to the game, and it's what I wanted out of Bruce Wayne in LEGO Batman 1. He should have been able to throw his briefcase around like a batarang, or at least have some kind of cool interaction with the suit swappers, but nothing. Superman's introduction to LEGO meant more than anybody could comprehend at the time. When he released, it changed LEGO gaming forever, and I'm not exaggerating. I would almost feel comfortable calling him the most influential character to ever be added to the franchise. and it's because of this that even going forward, it would be impossible to make the Man of Steel take a back seat. So, as we go into LEGO Batman 3 Beyond Gotham, let's begin by analyzing the game and all the Supermen that came with it. Let's start with the OG, good old regular Supes. He's got the same abilities as the last game, but now he has super speed for flash builds and treadmills. The same applies to Clark, but he doesn't have freeze breath for whatever reason. Design-wise, this is a strict downgrade from what we had on LEGO Batman 2. The trunks and yellow belt are gone, which removes a lot of the charm from the previous look. He also gets a ton of random lines on his torso piece that just look way too complicated. How did we MCU-ify a LEGO figure? I can't even tell what the lines are supposed to be indicating, they're extra fluff. The only positive here is that the cape is now fully red. I wasn't a fan of having the Superman S on the back of the cape, it just felt out of place. Like I said, Superman is a hard design to make bad, and it isn't like this is hard to look at or terrible or anything, but it's also just not good, and I much prefer the previous. Clark Kent makes a return here as well, and you're able to switch between those two characters on the fly. And again, Clark keeps all of Superman's abilities besides flight, all the heat vision and ice breath, and even does the Christopher Reeves ripping open the shirt thing to reveal the logo on his chest, which is just, it's really, really charming. Travis Willingham also makes a return as Superman in this game and all of his counterparts and does an incredible job. Superman's personality does feel a bit daft and airheaded in this game, but it's also a 2014 era LEGO game, so that kind of mischaracterization does make sense. The big Superman adjacent upgrade that LEGO Batman 3 provides us with is more than just one Superman. There's Solar Suit Superman, Composite Superman, Cyborg Superman, Man of Steel Superman, hell, even Bizarro and Crypto are here. Solar Suit Superman and Man of Steel Superman have the same abilities as regular Superman, just with different designs. I really love Solar Suit Superman. It's a suit he wears when recovering from near-fatal injuries in the comics, and the design here is spot on. It's hard to hate the black and silver combo, even if it is a little basic. Man of Steel Superman is based off of, you guessed it, the Man of Steel movies, and just like the quality of the films, the suit is bad. Like, come on, what are these stupid lines on this side? I don't hate the Henry Cavill suit in live action that much at all, don't come after me, Snyderheads, but this emulates all the worst parts of it. Just get it away from me. Composite Superman is a combination of Batman and Superman's designs and abilities, adding grappling, super sense, and technology used to their arsenal. The design is a little hard to look at times, but it's passable, and it is fairly comic accurate. He's similar to Cyborg Superman, who has the same powers minus the super sense. This design is leagues better, and it's less of a merging of two characters and more just Superman's skin slapped on top of a cyborg body. It goes hard. Though these two skins are strange for their own reasons, as they use the LEGO Batman 2 print instead of the new one for Superman parts of the body, even though Batman's half is current. It does seem like they weren't ready to commit to this design full swing, because a year later when LEGO Dimensions released, it reverted Superman back to how he looked in his very first appearance, and you know what? Thank God they did. His presence here in the story is pretty sparse. He appears in the level painting the town black and gets sucked into a vortex soon after, and reappears in the level Mystery Mansion Mashup to help the player build, I think, a painting, if my memory serves me correct here. While it is a very minor role, his wide variety of abilities makes him a very, very useful free play character for doing the hub worlds and the return to level stuff, and I find myself using him a lot more than pretty much any other character. This gives me a great excuse to talk about the physical LEGO minifigure that released alongside the Dimensions that you needed to have in order to play as Superman. And I don't know, it's perfect. The swirl in the hair, the dumb smile, the yellow belt, it's just like this is the ideal design. Though Superman hasn't always had the greatest luck when it comes to the toy translation. I know I said he's a hard character to mess up, but look, you know, sometimes it happens. Because I'm no expert in the field of physical minifigures, I brought on my friend Miko Path to help me cover the physical LEGO Superman minifigure before moving on to our final few games. Take it away, man.
Superman's physical appearances in LEGO are one of the most generally consistent in terms of DC theme design. And trust me, I'm speaking to you as someone who did multiple 2-hour live streams ranking every DC figure. Where did it all go so wrong? The first appearance of LEGO Superman was in 2011 as a Comic-Con exclusive figure alongside other figures like Batman and Green Lantern to launch the DC Superheroes line. It's identical to the design that appears in LEGO Batman 2 DC Superheroes, and this figure would also appear in his first set in 2012, Superman vs. Power Armor Lex. This figure only makes one more appearance later in 2015, in another Comic-Con exclusive set, paying homage to his first comic appearance. Then in 2013, to coincide with the release of Man of Steel, 3 sets were released featuring a new Superman minifigure. And much like the film, it sports that darker blue color and those interesting silver accents. He also features a new head print, very stern on one side and angry and using heat vision on the other. This head will become a mainstay for LEGO Superman for a few years. 1 month later, LEGO would release a LEGO DC Superheroes Unite DVD, which is a cutscene compilation of LEGO Batman 2 with some added scenes for continuity. And taped to the front of this DVD is Clark Kent in his iconic costume change. He got the side-swept hair and a torso that includes that classic imagery of him tearing open his shirt to reveal the logo, and you can only get it in a DVD. Next, in 2014, 3 new iterations would hit the LEGO DC franchise. First, another Comic-Con exclusive figure, which now costs over $5,000. This is the Man of Steel black suit Superman. Design-wise, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Later that year, we got the first and only Duplo Superman, appearing in 2 sets. But maybe Ben should have got a Duplo nerd to review this figure, because I'm just not tapped in like that. Are there Duplo nerds? Leave a like and a 1,000-word comment if you're a Duplo nerd. You know what? Subscribe to BD1P and me if you're a Duplo nerd. Ben, you should become a Duplo nerd and then rake in the cash. As a matter of fact, we could do it together. It could be a collab channel. We could call it Duoplo Nerds. Finally, in 2014, we got one more Superman figure appearing in only 2 sets. At first, I thought I was going crazy looking at this. I already reviewed this figure. It was the first Superman figure from earlier, but upon closer inspection, there actually are 2 key differences. The first is that the head is now the Man of Steel head, using the heat vision, which is a good choice. The second difference is that no good, horrible, rotten, stinky, flimsy, chunky waste of fabric on his shoulders. I'm sorry, I really miss the papery capes. I think the spongy capes are ugly and make their necks look weird, and I'm feeling old because it's been over a decade since they changed it, and I'm looking back on me in 2014 and realizing that I was, 12? Superman then took a little nap and came back in 2016 with the release of Dawn of Justice and 2 very similar minifigures. I think the torso detailing on these are actually really nice, but I think the figures are thoroughly let down by their legs. The plain blue and the blue with boots make the figure look really empty on the lower half because those leading lines on the torso lead nowhere. If my memory serves me right, this was before legs could be dual molded and printed at the same time, but we all know that the DC budget at LEGO is just a lot less than Marvel. That being said, the hairstyle change actually really works for the character, and the new face print is really good. I think it captures the actual energy of the character and that emotionality that he should have, while still keeping an equally good heat vision print. This figure would also get reused a year later in the Justice League sets. In 2016, we also got this figure, and I'm hoping you're starting to see what I mean when I say that this is a very consistent minifigure design. If it ain't broke, I guess don't fix it. This figure appeared in 2 LEGO Junior sets, and the only change from the original design is using the new improved 2016 face print. In 2017, there was only 1 minifigure, and Mighty Micros, they scare me. The whites of their eyes, I don't want to keep looking at him. Can we move on? I'm going to move on. 2018 got 2 more Superman figures, once again with very minor changes. The first keeps all from the 2014 design but the face, bearing a much more exaggerated smile, which is very fitting for the theme that it came from, which was the LEGO Batman movie. And that makes a lot of sense because a lot of those face prints lean into much more extreme facial expressions, design principles, and shape language. The second figure keeps the body from 2014 and uses the head and hair from 2016. Then on New Year's Day in 2020, just months before everything got way worse for everyone, LEGO released a collectible minifigure series geared towards DC fans, full of classic comic references and figures that fans have asked for years. But with this minifigure series, of course, came another Superman, based around the short-lived DC Rebirth design, and overall, I think this is the weakest LEGO Superman figure. The face feels off, and the heat vision print especially is very odd. The torso design is strange and distracting to me as well, pulling a lot of the design attention away from the figure as a whole, and somehow still making the legs look worse and bland because of it. But finally, in February of this year, we got one more Superman figure. They put it in a mech, and it's peak. I do wish it had the classic curl, but any Superman fan will likely have a hairpiece to spare. His face print is my favorite yet, a perfect combination of the youthful, cheery, strong energy that he should carry. His torso also adds just enough new detail with those little lines and the logo on the belt, and while the red trunks are missed, I have a feeling we'll be seeing them again soon in some new Superman sets, not long from now. But that's the whole collection of LEGO Superman. Thank you so much, Ben, for letting me talk about approximately 230 grams of LEGO DC history. It's been an honor. Back to you, Ben.
Big thanks to Mikopath for taking that load off my shoulders. And you can find his channel down below in the description, where he makes tons of amazing LEGO mock-ups. And hey, I'm in this video right here, go watch it. Our final main LEGO DC game, DC Supervillains, has some really interesting additions to the cast. Because we don't play as Superman in the game's story, we end up seeing more of his counterpart, Ultraman. If we compare the two designs, we see that Ultraman uses a shade of blue that more matches the Man of Steel costume we saw in Beyond Gotham. That DC EU Superman is a character in this game as well, but his design was slightly overhauled and I would say overall looks better. Yeah, the annoying lines are still a factor, but I find the coloring, the belt, and funnily enough the collar easier to look at, so points to TT Games for making the design a bit more tolerable here. As for his standard design, the only change from Dimensions is he gets some like red boots that, I don't know, I don't hate them, and if it's what it takes to get the trunks back on the character, I'll take it. It isn't bad, it's just more so my personal preference to have him without the boots. There is a Justice League variation of Superman that does lose the boots, but he also then in turn loses the swirl in his hair, so you gotta kind of balance what you want more, the swirl in the hair or the lack of boots. I also can't tell what this version of Superman is based off of because it's definitely not the movies. It might just be some random different print they wanted just to throw into the game, I guess. His transformation into Clark Kent is very similar to Beyond Gotham's, including the rip open the shirt to reveal the Superman crest on his chest bit, which I still adore. The one thing I will nitpick is that when using his super sense as Clark Kent, he pulls out a phone, where Superman just does it with his eyes. I imagine this was unintended, and is more than likely a bug. One fun thing this game pseudo-confirms is the presence of John Kent, Lois Lane, and Clark's kid in DC Supervillains, which means they might have gotten married between games. It makes me question a lot though, because what was going on between like Diana and Superman in LEGO Batman 3? This is just more timeline bullshit to add up, I guess. Travis Willingham voices him for a third game in a row and obviously does an incredible job. If one thing had to stay consistent across all three entries so far, I'm glad it was this. It would have been nice to also have the trunks be consistent too, but I digress. You might think that's the end of our video. We covered all 4 LEGO Batman and DC games. What more could there be? Well, he appears as a playable character in both LEGO Movie video games, and he looks the same as he did in Batman 2, so not much to cover there. He's also voiced by Travis Willingham, at least in the second game for sure. I don't know if he has any voice lines in the first. But even still, we're not done talking about the video games, because LEGO Superman appears in Fortnite with a print based off the new 2025 James Gunn David Cornsweet movie, and the print here is still a major downgrade from what we had in LEGO Batman 2, but it is leagues better than whatever the hell the Snyderverse was trying to do in LEGO Batman 3. So you know what? You're not in last place. At least appreciate that. It's still got the weird MCU-ified lines that we've come to hate over the last few entries. However, even with the boots, it's still nice to have some kind of representation in a larger video game. I'll take it. Oh, and you thought that was the end too? Well, surprise, we've got even more to cover, because unlike Killer Moth in that video, Superman appears in a ton of the LEGO movies, and there's really also not much to say about these, I suppose. I mean, only the belt changes, I think Bizarro League he has like the yellow belt. Then in Attack and Legion of Doom, he gets the red belt. And then in Shazam! Magic and Monsters, it changes to like a red belt with a yellow thing in the middle. That's really it. These movies also suck. I've watched them like 7 times over for every video I've made, and I hate seeing them. So you know what, I'm kind of glad there's not much to go off of here. It's just minor design changes and that's it. And I'm gonna leave it at that. The same goes for the handheld games as well. They mirror the console variations in terms of their costume and design, so it'd be redundant to cover those as well as the mainline games. I think with that, we have finally covered everything about LEGO Superman. Yeah, that is the full history of LEGO Superman. Unlike Killer Moth, which you can go watch that video somewhere on the screen right now, there's a lot more to cover here. If you want to learn more about the handheld versions in specific, Cam Reviews has some great videos completing all of those games, and I'm sure you'll find some kind of helpful information in there. I'm too grown to have an opinion on the movies, so if you want to get a deep dive into what might be the worst iteration of LEGO Superman ever, you can go watch Bizarro League if you feel like it. But for now, my work is done. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next week.